Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 15th episode of Slow Living, a webinar series driven by sustainability rooted in community. Today, we are honored to have Brittany Azili as our guest speaker. Brittany is a close friend and a pioneer in the local zero waste community. Brittany is the founder of Joyfill, a Denver-based zero waste concept shop centered around sustainable living. Joyfill offers a wide selection of merchandise geared towards being reusable, made of recycled materials and plastic-free. From the beginning, Brittany has done the very best she can to source products from like-minded suppliers and brands who can ensure plastic-free shipping and work towards a closed-loop system. Not only does she believe that every one of us can make a difference, whether it be a very small one, but that we all have to work together towards the same end goals. She is a big proponent of consuming less, reusing more, and making conscious decisions in where we spend our money and time. On this week's episode, Brittany will give us some insight on what it means to shop locally and the positive impacts that come from shopping at our local refill stores. So before I give Brittany the mic to present on today's webinar, I'd like to suggest that we will do a Q&A section at the end of her presentation. So anybody that is tuning in, we will take your comments and questions via the chat box, and I will unmute you during our Q&A portion so you can ask Brittany specifically your question. So without further ado, Brittany, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for being here, everybody. My name is Brittany Isley, and yeah, I actually have a presentation I will share the screen with, and we can just go from there. So let me take a second to figure that out. All right.
It looks good.
You see it?
I can, yes, that looks great.
Technology advanced. Okay, so like Kevin said, I'm just going to go over some of the positive impacts that you can plan to see by shopping at your local refill shop. And I know that refilling is kind of a new concept to some people, and the availability of shops like Joyfill are not that common or available to everyone. So even at the end of this, I'm going to share some suggestions if you don't have a refill shop near you, what you can do to still help make a difference in reducing your plastic consumption. So I'm going to go over what can you refill at our shop, closed loop system, which we are constantly striving for, how to support small and local businesses through refilling, how we need to demand change in the industry, and just some store info at the end. So just a little bit about the shop itself. Joyfill is your eco-minded refill shop in Denver. We carry cleaners, soaps, beauty care products, all available for refill. We also carry an assortment of earth-friendly merchandise. So anything from like bamboo toothbrushes to unpapered towels to reusable mugs, anything you can think of. And really the goal at Joyfill is just to make living a less wasteful lifestyle easy, attainable, and affordable for everybody. And this is a picture of our shop when we first opened. It's changed quite a bit since then. Some brands that we have in our store that are available for refill, a lot of them are local. You'll see we put an asterisk by ones that are, and a lot of them are women owned. We've also made an effort over the last year to really push Black owned businesses too. So we've brought a handful of those suppliers into our shop recently as well. But Dr. Bronner's, I think, is a name that people are pretty familiar with. And we have all their cast-style soaps. And then as far as products that are available, we can basically refill almost anything that you already have in your home. Anything from laundry powder, laundry liquid, laundry strips, laundry pods. You probably would never assume there were so many different types of laundry products, but there are. To sunscreen, deodorant, hair gel. I mean, we are really trying to make it so that if you need to refill something, you can do it in our store and just basically make it possible so that you don't need to go buy a new plastic container for any of your products again. And something I think a lot of people are surprised by is that we do more than just refilling cleaners and liquids and powders and such things like that. So we have a lot of merchandise that is essentially refillable as well, or replaceable, and all of it at the same time is usually recyclable or compostable. But one of the best switches I can always recommend is just full of wonderful brands that we've got great reviews for, and you can swap shampoo. Oh, can you still see me, Kevin?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
looking good.
Okay. I just got an internet thing. Bar soaps, we have shampoo, conditioner, face, and body. And for example, our shampoo and conditioner bars are expected to last 50 to 75 washes. I mean, that can replace up to 3 of your normal sized retail size bottles. And they are completely either package free or the packaging is plastic free. So that's one of my favorite swaps in the store, but also we do refillable floss, refillable toothpaste. We have toothpaste tabs, and we even have mouthwash tabs. So floss is something that hopefully all of us do, but it might be something you didn't really put 2 and 2 together when you thought about waste. So the floss actually comes in a little glass container, and you buy refillable spools of compostable silk floss. So that's a popular one. Double-edged safety razor blades. We have a take back razor program in our shop. So if you have a safety razor, all the blades are very generic. So you can bring back any of the used blades to us, and we send them back in to be recycled. Above and beyond that, we have a ton of kitchen products, compostable loofah sponges, bamboo dish brush heads. I think when you start to sit down and look around what you have in your home, you'd be surprised as to what alternatives are out there that are just more earth friendly and made to last longer. And at their end of life, they have a better way to dispose of them than just throwing them in the trash. So the next thing I was going to go over is refill shops. My main goal was to have a closed loop system. And what that means to me is we get in bulk size containers for all of our products. And then when the customer comes in, you guys bring in your own smaller containers and refill from those large containers. So if you can see on the slide, on the left-hand side, there's 2 bags pointing to a larger carboy container. So we get those large plastic ones into our shop, and you refill from that. And the great thing is with a lot of brands now that we work with is they will take back those large containers and sanitize them and refill them again, and then send them back to us. An alternative is we also have a lot of companies who will send us these bags, and they have the product in, and then we use the bags to refill the large carboy containers, and then we send the bags back. And the bags are actually a better option too, because they can sanitize and refill those. We can pack way more bags into a box and we send them back, so it's less weight to ship back, less carbon emissions overall. And I can tell you that when we opened in 2018, it was a lot harder to find and source suppliers that were willing to do something like this. And really just finding suppliers that in general sold in bulk. I was very surprised that it was not as common as I had assumed it would be. But even in the last 2.5 years that we've been in operation, we've probably brought on like 10 to 15 more brands that are willing to talk about working towards a closed loop system and kind of changing the way that they're used to doing things. A great thing about working with a lot of our local suppliers is that it's easy for them to take back containers because they're local. They can just swing by and pick up the empties and bring us new ones. So it is a little bit more difficult logistically when you're working with brands who are not in state and you have to ship the empties back and forth. But at the end of the day, I think that's, important to think about when you're creating a product, and a lot of these brands have. So we applaud them for that. And we definitely try and promote their doing good in our store. And then some of the other examples are just the black container in the upper right is actually a deodorant bin. And so that's a cream. People scoop it out of there into their own containers, and we send all those back to the company. They're called Mianya Tweet. And then below that is Humble Suds, a local company out of Evergreen. We have a lot of their laundry powder, and they take back as well. So this is just a few examples of the customers that we work with that support a closed loop system for us. And just to add on to that, with the closed loop system, there's absolutely no plastic waste created whatsoever. So the shipping practices, they do not ship with any plastic packaging. It's all paper tape, paper padding, and really everything that's sent to us, we are able to send back for them to be reused. So that's a great thing about our business. And really in the future, one of our main goals at Joyfill is to hopefully expand our small store into a larger location where we can do a take back program for containers that customers refill into. So if you think about, say we have mason jars in our store, we can fill the mason jars with the product for you. You take it home. When it's empty, we can come pick up the empties from you and either deliver you new refilled mason jars, or you can come back to the store the next time. So hoping to get to a point where we can actually have our own container reuse system in place. Next portion of the slide is about supporting small business and local business. So in supporting your local refill shop, you're also helping to support a lot of other local businesses, and keeping money out of the pockets of a lot of the large corporations that just haven't been willing to listen to consumers and change their ways. So some highlights on some of the local businesses that we work with here in Colorado. One of them is Juniper Seed Mercantile. They have a lot of soap bars. We have a whole facial product refill section, and most of that is their products. So you can expect anything from face wash to face lotion to face oils from them, and it's all sourced. All the ingredients are sourced pretty locally from them, and it's all made very small batch in their shop down in Littleton. And then Fig and Yarrow is another company we work with. We have face masks, face scrubs from them. Boulder Clean's probably a larger name that you might be familiar with. They have laundry, dish soap, hand soap. We get from them in very, very large quantities, really, really large drums, which are about 30-gallon drums. Once those drums are empty, we have a program where we send those back to actually be cleaned and sold again by another company. So we also give them away for free if wanted by a lot of our customers. People use them for compost or collecting rainwater. So we, if we work with a brand that doesn't or isn't able to take back their containers, we really do try and find another life for those containers before just bringing them to our partner recycling facility. Mountain Time Soap's another brand we work with. Humble Suds. Seedling Cards, I believe, is based in Boulder. They have plantable plastic-free greeting cards. But as you can see, by working with a company like Joyfill, purchasing products and refilling through us, you're also supporting all of the other brands that are listed here. And how that really helps us too is that their products are manufactured and delivered locally. So we're saving costs on shipping. We're cutting emissions on having to ship product across the country. And again, you're putting your money where your mouth is. If you believe in small business and making changes, you're just really trying to support those other businesses that are helping to do that. And finally, I think we all know by now that if we want to see change, we have to demand it. And it really comes down to just, spending your money where you feel like it's being put to good use. So, and at the same time, there's definitely a handful of larger businesses that have heard our voices and that are actually making a change. One of them that was a more recent one that I noticed is Native Deodorant. I believe they sell it at Target. A lot of people are big fans, but it's always just been in your typical plastic tube. And they just recently launched a plastic-free deodorant tube that's in like a cardboard tube. So this is a pretty big breakthrough for a large company like that. They really have to sit down and change their supply chain and their manufacturing process to do something like this. But they're natural, their products are pretty natural anyway, so I think it makes sense for them to do that. While I am not a big supporter of water bottle companies anyway, I did find out that Evian pledged by 2025 to only produce bottles which are 100% recycled, and to help create a circular economy through their business as well, which, making changes small steps at a time is the least we can ask for. McDonald's also, they're starting to add plant-based options, and then 100% of their packaging coming from renewable, recycled, or certified sources here soon. So that's a pretty big name. And for them to address our plastic problems and climate issues and the pollution that is being caused by those who are just not being responsible in the products they're putting out into our communities, it's detrimental. So it's good to hear about companies who are actually, making a difference like that. One of my favorite companies that we partner with, though, is called TerraCycle. So they offer free and paid recycling programs. We actually have a section in our store where we have zero waste boxes, and we accept public drop-off for anything from dental hygiene products, late July, snack bags, razors, candy wrappers. One of the newer ones is bath and beauty products, and then markers for recycling. So these programs are all free to you guys to utilize as you wish. And then we send these boxes when full back to TerraCycle. And they recycle them. They do whatever they can. They break the plastic down into smaller pieces and create park benches, or create it into a new product itself. But one thing that TerraCycle did recently launch was a business called The Loop. So it's very similar to like Joyfill, so a refill shop, but it's almost like a local delivery service. So they partner with large and small companies, large companies like Unilever, small companies like Nut Butters, and they create a delivery package free solution. So they have about 300 brands and 100 products right now in the US. And you can go online and register, and kind of it's like you're a milkman service. And they have a bag and containers. When they're empty, you put it on your porch, they'll pick it up, drop new ones. You can get anything from like ice cream to hand soap and it's great to see that some of these large corporations are actually willing to try a solution like this, because that's really what we need, is everyone to be on board. And then, this is the last slide. If you don't have a refill store near you, I do have a few suggestions. There's a website called Litterless, which I recommend to everybody. It has a list of zero waste stores sorted by state and city. So it's a really great resource if you go on a road trip and you still want to shop bulk. I know it's a little difficult now with COVID, but you can basically sort by city and see where you're going to drive through and stop by a local zero waste shop and check it out. What we've been trying to do recently, since we typically try and do bulk at Sprouts, but it's just not available right now, is just try and think about where else we can buy in larger quantities. So we do try and go to Costco or Sam's, and if we need to get rice, we get a really big bag of rice. Or just be kind of aware of what the packaging is actually coming in. You can get a lot of pasta in cardboard boxes. Bulk section of natural grocery stores, some are open. I know Whole Foods has some bulk sections still open, but really depends on where you live. And then of course you can always do it yourself. I know people who still create all their own deodorant. I mean, I've definitely tried to do that before, and been successful with some things and not so successful with others, but you know, you could always give it a try. So that's that. And here's just some info on our shop, our website. We're open every single day from 10 to 6. You can schedule an appointment to come in. We do accept walk-ins. We do curbside pickup. Really just try to make it easy to get refills in anyone's hands.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brittany. And
Yeah,
I need new shampoo and conditioner, so I will be by
lovely.
this week. So
We're
I
here
will,
for you.
you'll certainly see me this week. No, I can't thank you enough for giving us a little bit more insight on what it means to be, a local advocate, whether it be zero waste or just supporting your own local community. So
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
of course.
So starting off the Q&A section, I saw a question come in, but I will start off by asking you this thing that just keeps going around and around in my head, specifically about bulk refill and refill shops in general. So, what is the hardest product in your shop to source sustainably, and why do you think that is in the current infrastructure?
Um, I would say up until recently, I mean, we've struggled the most with getting in actually glass containers because we sell a lot of containers for refill in our store. So we try and get glass containers with pump tops. So if you didn't already have something at home, you could buy it at our store and refill from there. So we've had a really hard problem sourcing that in general. I think there's just a national shortage due to the pandemic, but also a lot of those products are made on a very large scale, and we can't really purchase from anything but very, very large corporations that already package them in plastic. So that's definitely somewhere we've struggled with, and we're still working on trying to find the bottles and containers we need and want to have available for our customers locally. And in instances like that where we just can't avoid it, I try to just do as large of an order as I can as possible, just to hope to reduce the amount of like packing products that's inside. But we also, in the back of our store, pay for a plastic shipping zero waste TerraCycle box. So nothing goes in the trash. We pay to have that stuff sent back to TerraCycle if we can't avoid it at all. So that's, at least the least we can do with that. But as far as refills, trying to think of what's been the most difficult thing to get in recently plastic free. I think most of our refills we can get plastic free, except probably like Epsom salt in really because we get those in like 50-pound bags.
Mhm.
And we've really tried to source from other places that might put it in like a large paper bag or something like that, but I haven't had any luck with that yet. So
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I was actually reading that Ball, like the glass jar manufacturer, was having like a worldwide shortage because of COVID. People are canning more and doing baked goods, things like that, and actually, trying to store up more food
yeah,
shortage purposes.
we have not been able to get mason jars in like 4 months.
Wow.
It's unreal.
Wow. I know, same thing with breweries. They have an aluminum shortage right now with manufacturer and scale. So it's pretty crazy, the infrastructure,
Yeah, the
and the
supply
impacts.
chain is just a little out of whack.
Absolutely. And so going off of that, I have a second question before we get to the question that's in the chat box. In our current consumer culture, what product or necessity do you see having the most prominent impact on the environment?
What product or what? Just
Yeah, yeah. So what product in your shop do you see yourself, you're reducing your impact the most
yeah.
substantial?
Um, it's a loaded question. I feel like you could buy anything in the shop and you're making a very big difference. But
Absolutely.
laundry products for sure are purchased in such large quantities. I mean, people bring in these huge 250-ounce containers. Um, Oscar. Stop. And the fact that those things are being thrown away every few months is just very disheartening. So with the amount of laundry liquid that people go through, and how much they do at home for their families, especially probably spending more time at home now, that would probably be the one that I'd say. I mean, when I look at our sales, that's definitely a product that we sell the most of. So if you can imagine that you're not buying those huge containers anymore and you have one for the rest of your life, because it truly would last the rest of your life, then that would probably be the one thing that I would say makes one of the largest differences.
Good to know. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. So we're going to go to Victoria, who had a specific question to ask you, and I just unmuted her, so she should be able to ask you.
Perfect.
Hi, Brittany. Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I've actually been into your store and it's really great. So I'm
lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, grateful for what you're doing for that industry. I had a question here. I asked, do you see any hesitation with new customers in terms of using or purchasing brands that they might not be as familiar with, seeing as a lot of people are kind of particular about products when it comes to beauty and health and, face, like putting things on your face and things like that. So are your customers pretty open to trying more local, non-commercial brands when they come in order to support the store, or?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. That's definitely something that I went back and forth with a lot when I first opened, whether I was going to stock only local and just have a smaller variety for people to choose from. And you've been in the shop, but what I ended up doing was also carrying a variety of just well-known larger brands. So like Boulder Clean, if you live in Colorado, you probably know Boulder Clean. And then we have like EO, we have Dr. Bronner's. So I think by having some of those more recognizable brands, it makes people that are maybe first timers feel a little bit more comfortable doing refilling. And then, once they do it once or twice, I think they're more willing to try something new. But at the same time, I mean, a lot of the personal care products we get are smaller businesses, because I also can't get bulk for any of the larger ones. So I think it's just a trust thing. And I also think just knowing when you're coming into Joyfill that we really focus on getting natural products that are, free of parabens, free of all those types of things that people are trying to avoid putting on their skin and onto their bodies. So, I think just coming in and people just being willing to give it a try. I think that, like you said, having the bigger brands, we do still have those, but just for that reason too.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Brittany, we are at the end of the webinar. Is there anything that you'd like to sign off? Anything else you'd like to say for the audience?
I don't think so. Just, thank you for listening and hope to see you in the shop soon.
Yeah, Brittany, can't thank you enough for being here on a Sunday. Again, like I said, especially since the Broncos are playing. So I apologize for making you do this during that time. But honestly, your insight and what you're doing, it's valiant, and I can't thank you enough. So keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to see you this week when I'm in the shop.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody, respect each other and respect your mother. Bye.